Hello, everybody, and welcome to another one of our bite-sized mini video lessons. Today is kind of a tutorial on using, setting up, and sharing YouTube playlists for education. My name is Andrew Roush. I'm the communications specialist at TCEA, and as a part of our remote learning video series, today we're talking about YouTube. That is our specialized communication. So let's jump in. First, we're going to cover why you might want to use YouTube playlists in education, some new features that you might not be aware of, and then we're going to get a little bit of practice, what it looks like creating and sharing playlists. And of course, as with all these videos, we'll share links in the description for this video, in this video's post, down below, I assume, somewhere. And you'll have the links to everything we talk about. So let's jump in. That's pretty much it for the presentation, though. If we're going to talk about why we might use YouTube playlists real quick, well, one, they're free for the most part. There is a premium version of YouTube, but that's mostly for videos, TV series, things like that. For the most part, YouTube is free. If you have a Google account, you have a YouTube account. So if you're using Google EDU, or rather Google Suite EDU, you probably already have a YouTube account that you can activate and use. We'll talk a little bit about that. YouTube's also been around for about a decade, and it's probably the most expansive video sharing site that there is. With that comes a lot of stuff. Some of it is admittedly of low educational value. Some of it is not. You and your students probably use YouTube every day for lots of reasons, and we of course can use it for education. There's a lot of, for example, vast public domain video archives. If you're looking for historical video, there's a lot of stuff there. Many existing educational outfits, schools and nonprofits have series and playlists that you can already use now. We'll talk a little bit about that. And of course, everyone basically has access to YouTube if they have an internet connection, which of course is not always the case, but even a fast smartphone connection will help in that regard in terms of accessing YouTube. So let's jump out of the presentation and let's jump into the browser window. There are a couple of websites we should check out first. The first one comes from Google. YouTube's parent company. This is their Teach from Home page that they've set up, as they describe it, a temporary hub for resources in education during this remote teaching phase we're in right now. The URL for that is teachfromhome.google. I'm sure if you Google Teach from Home, it will pop up, but we'll just scroll down this page real quick. A couple of things worth noting: you can change your language setting. You can also get a step-by-step sort of slideshow PDF in the language of your choice. I'll just show that to you real quick. It looks like this, and it's got links all the way throughout. You can jump around, and it'll give you a good primer on teaching from home if you're still feeling a little shaky. As we scroll down this page, you'll see some different things that the Google Suite can do for you. We'll have other videos on Google products and all the fun things you can do with them. But this is just kind of giving you a general idea of how you can use video calling and do live video. One thing I will point out while we're here, however, it's talking about Hangouts here, but this is true for YouTube as well. Enabling closed captioning can be useful as an accessibility tool for students. On YouTube, some videos have auto-generated captions, which is like an AI trying to generate the captions. Those aren't always great, especially when it comes to educational topics that have very specific language that the AI might not pick up on. You can also create captions. You can put a transcript in. You can even help translate YouTube videos from other languages. So those are things to just be aware of and be looking out for. So speaking specifically about YouTube here, they have a site, YouTube Learning, Learn at Home is the name of the page. Again, this is another kind of hub page. You can find it at learnathome.withyoutube.com. Really weird URL on that one, but I'm sure if you Google Learn at Home YouTube, you will find it. As we scroll down, you obviously can open up YouTube's learning page from here. Oh, that just opened the same thing. Sorry, see more on YouTube. That'll open all of their learning channel with all of their playlists here. So let's talk about playlists. As we look at the Learn at Home with Google site, when you scroll down, they have a couple of options. They have Explore Learning by channel, which might more accurately be called Explore Learning by age group, grade level, age cohort, whatever. But they have it chunked. So 13-year-old and over, those are your secondary students. 5 years and older, those are your elementary students or primary students. And then preschool resources. So we can just click one of those. Let's look at elementary resources. That takes us through to a landing page with lots of playlists from trusted content creators on here. So we can check those out. Now, a lot of these playlists are what are called learning playlists. That's a feature they rolled out at YouTube last year. And what that does is it removes the algorithmic recommendations from videos in that playlist, and it removes the ads. Now, those learning playlists are limited to partner organizations with YouTube, some examples being Crash Course with the brothers, Hank and John Green, or Khan Academy, Sal Khan, you may be familiar with. Those organizations have learning playlists specifically designed for use in education. Now, we'll keep exploring on the Learn at Home from page and look at one of those. Let's say we want to explore by subject. This is great for maybe secondary teaching or secondary grade level teaching rather. I'm a humanities guy, so we'll check that out. And you can see here a playlist from Khan Academy on the Constitution. Let's say I'm teaching a unit on the Constitution, we'll check that out. So it opens up in YouTube and it looks like this. Here's the introduction up top. I'll get Saul to stop talking there. And you can see with this little tag, it is a learning playlist. So that takes the algorithm out. You can't make an official learning playlist, but in terms of finding ones to use, that could be really useful. You'll also see it shows how many of the videos you've watched, how long the whole series is, when it was updated, and it gives you these options to play, which will autoplay the whole playlist, or to save it. Now, normally it'll look like that with the plus sign when you're not saved, but if I like this one and I want to share it with my class, I can just hit save, and it'll automatically save to my playlist on my Google account. And you can see it over here in the left-hand sidebar. If I click show more, you can see that playlist has now popped up over there. This has learning objectives listed, which is very nice. If you're making your own playlist, which we'll talk about in a sec, you can of course put in your own learning objectives and links like this one here. So that's what this playlist looks like when we click on it from the YouTube Learn at Home page. Now let's say you're out there putting together a unit and you want to put together a list of videos your students can watch. Well, I'm interested in the food of the Middle Ages. I like giving my students a chance to understand daily life at that time, for example. So let's say I'm looking around on YouTube and I found this video, The Food of the Middle Ages, from a channel called Absolute History. I'm watching this on my account. That means ads will pop up. And recommendations will pop up. Just be aware of that. Things might be different for EDU accounts. And here, under each video in YouTube, you'll get a couple of options. Now, you can see in the video, there is this captioning button, the 2 C's. You can hit that, and it will auto-generate captions. If you're ready to share a single video directly, just hit this share button. It'll give you all the social media you can use. It'll also give you this direct link that you can copy. So if you just hit copy, it'll save it to your clipboard. Of course, you can do it the good old-fashioned way with Control V or with the right mouse button. But then you can share that link right away. And you can see if I just open a new tab and put in that link, there it is. So, and there you can see I got an ad. If I'm ready to save this to a playlist, however, I'll click this button that says Save next to it. That'll bring up all the playlists you have, as well as your Watch Later list, which is automatically generated for your account and can be a really good way to stash videos if you haven't had a chance to review them for content. But I like this one. I'm going to add it to my medieval food playlist. And all I have to do is check the box next to that. Don't have to click anything else. It'll tell me added to that playlist, and I'm done. I can close that window. Now you're thinking, all right, let's take a look at my playlists. How do they work? Well, if you're new to your YouTube account, you may not have to create a channel. Creating a channel allows you to have a place where your playlists live and can be shared from. So I have a channel set up. It'll be the first thing you do with a new account if you haven't made a playlist yet. You'll go over to this top right corner of the YouTube window. You'll click on your icon for your account. There's my smiling face. And you can go to your channel. But if this is your first time logging in, that first option will say create channel. You'll go through that process and you'll be ready to go. So let's take a look at my channel. Nothing much doing here. But if I look at my playlists over here, I have one called Medieval Food. That's the one I just added that video to. And you can see, look at this guy getting down on a big turkey leg. I don't think they had turkey in medieval Europe. Something to think about. And you can see I've got the videos I'm interested in here on my list. And here are the options once you've created a list to customize it. Of course, you can customize the title by clicking the pencil next to it. You've got 150 characters. It'll show you how many videos are on the list, when it was updated. And then this next feature underneath, where it says unlisted, this is a drop-down menu. You can change the visibility of your playlist, and there's 3 options. The first is public. Anyone can find this. If they search medieval food, they might be able to find that playlist, for example. Second is unlisted. That means that you can share the link to that video, but you won't be able to find it through search necessarily. So if this is just for your class, just for you in this unit, and you don't want to share it for whatever reason, you can keep it unlisted, or you can keep it completely private. If you're working on building a playlist, then that's a good way to go. Then no one can get into it while you're working on it. Don't forget to set it back to unlisted or public when you're ready to share it, of course. And then you can customize your description. This is a great place to put your learning objectives, anything you want people watching this video to note. So that's a really good tip. One more thing, of course, you can go up here and click sort by. Lots of options to sort your playlist. But also, if you're the owner of the list, you see these 2 little gray horizontal lines that are perpendicular to each other, a little equal sign. You get a grabber hand when you put your cursor over it. You can grab that, drag it, and change the order of your list. So that's a really good tip there. When you go to watch one of these, it'll automatically play the list. There's another ad, Wolfgang Puck, all right. And you can see the whole list here. You can even edit your playlist over here on the right side where you see I'm scrolling through the videos. There's this little trash can icon. I can take videos right out. So maybe I don't like this guy eating a turkey leg. I'll take him right out. He's gone. So those are the basics of controlling, putting together, and sharing a playlist. Again, we'll just take a look at the main playlist page. This is what it looks like. And let's say when I'm done creating my playlist, there's a couple options. But to share, if I click these 3 dots here, there's a couple of things we can do. Collaborating allows you to add other users. So if you're working with other people in your department to put together a playlist, you can toggle this on. There it is, off, but you can toggle it on, add collaborators. And again, it's the same process, copying the link and sharing it directly. The same way you might share a doc in Google Docs. You can also, on that drop-down menu, delete the playlist, change the settings to allow embedding, to automatically put new videos at the top of the list, for example, if this is a running playlist that's going throughout a semester. You can also add videos directly from that list, but you'll have to search or know the URL. This is the interface that pops up. So those are the basics of creating and sharing playlists, as well as some of the things that YouTube and Google have done to share existing playlists in YouTube. Pretty useful stuff. One thing I will note before we go If you're looking to start your own channel to create videos and you want them to live on YouTube, YouTube has a Creator Academy. One thing you can do is check out this series, this course basically, on starting an educational YouTube channel. This kind of outlines the different kinds of things you'll want to keep in mind in creating an educational channel, and it even has lessons and little building blocks and quizzes along the way. So if you want to give yourself a little course on how to create videos, if that's your next step, that's a good thing to check out as well, and we will have that in the video description. So that's about it for this short session, but you can keep the conversation going. Hit us up on social media. Just look for @TCEA, and we're usually pretty quick to get back with you. We want to hear your ideas, what you've been struggling with, where you've succeeded, what good ideas you have to share. We're going to keep that going during this time of remote teaching and learning. If you have any questions for me, for example, I host our podcast, the EdTech Club. Any questions about that or YouTube or whatever you like, you can send that to me. It's aroush, AROUSH, @tcea.org. So be in touch, send us your good ideas, and thanks for joining us today.